Welcome to LearnersPrep. In this session, we'll learn the concept of percentage. This is the first session in this concept. So let us also solve some practice problems in the topic of percentage. First of all, let us see what are the basics of the concept percentage. So as you know, percentage means per 100. So for example, X% means X by 100. Percentage is used to compare quantities. For example, 25%. So the sign of the percentage is as shown. So 25% is written as a fraction as 25 by 100 and it is written as decimal as 0.25. So if we have to find out X% of Y, then X% of Y is equals to Y is multiplied with X by 100. So X% stands for X by 100, half stands for multiplication. So converting from fraction to percentage, decimal to percentage and percentage to decimal. So to convert a fraction into percentage, we have to multiply it with 100. Similarly, to convert a decimal into percentage also, we have to multiply by 100. And vice versa, percentage to decimal, we have to divide by 100. So for example, 1 by 2 is the fraction. So multiply with 100, you will get 50%. And decimal to percentage 0.75. So if you multiply by 100, you will get 75%. And percentage to decimal. So if you divide by 100, 25 by 100, it becomes 0.25. So important percentages to fractions equivalents. So 50% is equivalent to 1 by 2. 25% is equivalent to the fraction 1 by 4. 20% is equivalent to 1 by 5. 12.5% is equal to 1 by 8. 33.33% is equivalent to 1 by 3. So these are vice versa, fraction to percentage and fraction to percentage to fraction. So to increase or decrease a number by a certain percentage. So to increase a number by a given percentage, say x, so you have to multiply that number by the factor 100 plus x by 100. Similarly, if you want to decrease a number by x%, you have to multiply that number by 100 minus x by 100. And to find out the increase percentage increment is equal to final value minus initial value divided by initial value multiplied by. To find out the percentage decrease, so whenever there is a decrease, initial value will be greater. So initial value minus final value divided by initial value into 100. Now let us solve some problems based on this concept. Practice question 1. If 28% of a number is 140, then the number is. So there are 4 options given. Option A 450, B 500, C 480, D 520. So let us assume the number as x. 28% of x. 28% of x is equal to 140. So percentage means by 100, half is multiplication into x is equals to 140. So let us simplify and find the value of x. 140 into, reciprocate that fraction, 100 by 28. So if you do cancellation, 28 5s 140. X is equal to 5 into 100, 500. This is a simple question. So therefore the number is 500 and the correct answer is option B. Question number 2. 60% of a number when added to 96 is equal to that number. What is the number? So again here, let us assume the number as x. 60% of x when added to 96 is equal to that number. That number is x. So we have to simplify this equation and then find the value of x. 60%, 60 by 100 into x plus 96 is equals to x. 60 by 100 is 23's, 25's. So that is 3x by 5 plus 96 is equals to x. So 96 is equals to x minus 3x by 5. So if you simplify, what do you get? 96 is equal to, this is x minus 3x by 5 is 2x by 5. So therefore x is equals to 96 into 5 by 2. So if we cancel 2 48 times, that is 48 5s 240. The number is 240. The correct answer is option A. Question number 3. What percentage of 3 by 8 is 3 by 60? So let us assume the percentage as x. X percent of 3 by 8 is equals to 3 by 64. So x percent is written as x by 100 of 3 by 8 is equals to 3 by 64. Simplify this. X is equal to 3 by 64 into 8 by 3, reciprocate the fraction, into 100. 3 gets cancelled. 8 times. So what is remaining here? 8 and 100. 4 25s, 4 2s. The remaining is 25 by 2, which is nothing but 12.5%. So this is a correct answer. 12.5% of 3 by 8 is equal to 3 by 64. What is the answer? Option A again is the right answer. Question number 4. If A is 80% of B, then B is what percent of A? We have A and B. A is 80% of B. That means let us assume B as 100. We assume B as 100, then A will be 80% of it. So that means 80. A will be 80. So he is asking B is what percent of A? B is what percent of A? So 100 divided by 80 into 100. So you have to compare B with A. So what are you comparing with? That should be written in the denominator. What are you comparing? That should be in the numerator. So let us simplify this. 25s, 24s, 4 ones, 4 25s. What is the answer? 25 into 5. That is 125. So that means B is 125% of C is the right answer. Question number 5. X% of Y plus Y% of X is equal to what? X% of Y. How to write it as? X% of Y plus Y% of X. This is written as X by 100 times Y plus Y by 100 times. So this is XY by 100 plus XY by 100. So this is 1% of XY. Again, this is 1% of XY. We add both of them. What do you get? 2% of XY. 2% of X. Option C is the right answer. Question number 6. If 50% of P is equal to 25% of Q, then P is equal to X% of Q. Find X. So given that 50% of P is equal to 25% of Q. So how to write it as 50 by 100 to P is equal to 25 by 100 into Q. Simplify this. 100 cancel in the denominator. 25 ones, 25 twos. What is remaining? 2P is equals to 1Q. P is equals to 1 by 2Q. 1 by 2. What is the equivalent percentage of 1 by 2? So the equivalent percentage of 1 by 2 is 50%. So how do we write it as? P is equals to 50% of Q. So the question is P is equal to X% of Q. X% of Q. What is the X value here? X value is 50. X value is 50. A is the right answer. Question number 7. If 30% of X minus Y is equal to 20% of X plus Y, then Y is what percent of X? 30% of X minus Y is equal to 20% of X plus Y. So how do we write it as? 30 by 100 into X minus Y is equals to 20 by 100 into X plus Y. Simplify this. 100 will get cancelled both sides. 10 twos, 10 threes. So if you simplify this, 3x minus 3y is equal to 2x plus 2y. 3x minus 2x equals to 3y plus 2y. So 1x is equal to 5y. So y is equal to 1 by 5x. One by 5. What is the equivalent percentage? 20%. 20% of x. Then y is what percent of x? Y is 20% of x. So 20 is the right answer. So 1 by 5 equivalent percentage is 20%. So therefore y is equal to 20% of x. 20 is the right answer. A is the right answer. Question number 8. 2% of 5% of 40% of 500 is equal to what? So how to write this as 2%, 2 by 100 of multiplication, 5%, 5 by 100 of again multiplication, 40%, 40 by 100 of multiplication 500. So simplify this. 100 5 times and 5 10 times, 2 5 times. What is remaining? 1 by 5. That is nothing but 0.2. A is the right answer. Question number 9. If A earns 20% less than B, then B earns how much percent more than A? So let us take A and B. A earns 20% less than B. B is 100, A is 80. So B is earning 20 more. So this 20 is how much percentage of 80? This we have to find out. B is earning 20 more. So therefore 20 is how much percentage of 80? 20 by 80 into 100. So 20 ones, 24s, 4 ones, 420. So that is 25%. So that means B is earning 25% more than A. So what is the 25%? 20. So 20 is 25% of 80. So B is earning 25% more than A. So option C is the right answer. Question number 10. Two numbers are respectively 25% and 60% more than a third number. The second is what percent of the first? So let us assume the third number as 100. Assume the third number as 100. Third number, let us assume as 100. So first number will be 125. First number is 125. Second number is 60% more. That will be 160. So what is our question here? The second is what percentage of the first. Second is what percent of the first. Second is what percent of the first. 160 divided by 120. Since we are finding the percentage, multiply by 100. Simplify this. 25 fives, 25 fours, 5 ones, 5 32s. 32 into 4. 32 into 4 is equals to 128%. That means second is 128% of the first. So correct answer is option. So these are some questions on the concept of percentage. We'll solve some more questions based on the concept of percentage in the next session. Thank you.